Hello everyone, welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, and well, considering we had such a big battle, so to speak, I mean, it wasn't very big, it just kind of happened, but, you know, we've done it, so now it's time to chill out and look at more supports. Again, it's mostly with the other characters, not so much Byleth, but we got an Alois one, somehow. I'm pretty sure I didn't use him whenever, but who knows, maybe just giving presents or just talking to him or just stuff like that beats me. Or maybe he was backing us up in one of the, one of those whatchamacallits. But, him and Alois and Byleth support, even though a lot of it is expository about Geralt and stuff, it makes sense because Geralt is the one, that binds them together, and Alois knows, next to Rhea, he probably knows Geralt the best, so naturally he would talk about him a lot. Plus, we don't know a lot about Geralt to begin with, so it's not like this is just stuff we've already heard. This is a case of we're finding out about him, and it makes sense. And again, I really can't stress enough how Alois is a character that, at first I thought I wasn't gonna like, because of his attitude of trying really hard to be funny and upbeat and stuff like that, and a bit, overbearing. But it really works out of his favor because he actually can be funny, but he also has a lot of sentimental value to him, and he just tries to do his best to be the best friend and mentor possible. He does his job as well. He's competent. I think that really helps. It's not like Alois is a bumbling idiot. He is competent at his job. And again, the voice actor's good too. He really has that, what-ho type voice going for him. He really was good at his job at all. It's, I don't know. Again, that's the thing Three Houses does. No one is really unlikable. And even the ones that are quote-unquote unlikable, they at least have depth. Like, again, I've said many times, I don't like Rhea. And even going through Blue Lion so far, I'm still not hugely on board with Rhea. But I still think she's one of the best Fire Emblem villains. I think she's really good. I just personally don't like her. But that's compliment to Three Houses writing. It's really, really damn good. Yeah. It's cool. It's also cool to find out about Geralt because Geralt's kind of a background, for the most part, he's kind of a background character. So actually learning more about him, especially just the mystery surrounding yourself, these type of supports really do work. It's not like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to, obviously, because, with trying to think. With Grail, we found out a lot just through the base conversations with Ike and Titania, but also we actually get that flashback as well, so we already know quite a bit about Grail. And even then, Grail's a lot more active just talking, whereas Geralt's very secretive. So, I feel it works. And now it's Manuela and Edelgard. And this support is actually quite the interesting one, because this one, especially when we get to the B one, and the A1, it really challenges Edelgard's perception, and it really does show that Edelgard is inexperienced like Dimitri and Claude. Because, obviously Manuela is, in the opera company. She has an amazing voice. She looks beautiful. She was a celebrity, basically. She was loved all around because she was, just so glamorous and all that. So Edelgard's like, okay, but why did you retire? And then Manuela's like, I may have these wonderful gifts from the goddess, like these looks and this voice, but I want to make a name up for myself outside of that. I want to have other talents. And, obviously Edelgard's kind of like, finding this baffling because for the most part, she views, and obviously this isn't true, but this happens within the church where, people just literally devote themselves to the goddess and don't really think or live outside of that. Obviously not all of them, but there is people within the church that do such things. So, for Edelgard, it's quite a revelation seeing Manuela, who is very faithful and is very tied to the goddess, still keeping a level head and trying to make a name for herself outside of that, knowing that my faith in the goddess can only take me so far, and stuff like that. So it is interesting, and I think that's what I really like about Three Houses. The adult characters do give some really good sound advice. Hanneman does it, Alois does it, Manuela does it, I haven't seen about Gilbert, Shamir does it. All the adults, they are very much, they have the real world experience, and I really like that about Three Houses. They obviously they don't treat the students like kids, but clearly the adults are a lot wiser, and they give them some very, very, very good advice. But at the same time, it's the kids that kind of invigorate and inspire the adults, seeing just like what they could become.
You wish to live by your own strength.
And obviously, because obviously, Edelgard doesn't really have, in the Crimson House, she doesn't really have anything against the faith, she just has a thing against the church, but even this is kind of a revelation for her, seeing people being so active in their lives, despite, being so tied to the goddess. Obviously, she's just like, what? Wait, Hubert? Oh yeah, Hubert and Edelgard, because, of course. So yeah, this one is essentially, look, their thing comes full circle, but at the end of the day, Hubert's not going to, you know, at the end of the day, he won't give in. He's not going to tell Edelgard. Which, again, I think that's cool, honest to God, where even Hubert had his limits, because usually with these characters, you just see them like, okay, in the end, I'll give in. And Hubert's like, nah, I ain't telling you nothing. I mean, he does tell her the secret, but, you know, he's not the one to back down.
But such titles are of little significance to me.
And again, and it's like, you know, it's like, you can do what you want to me, Edelgard, but I'm just going to be who I am. So, you know.
Perhaps there was a time when I served the Imperial line.
And again, we get some of the backstory and all that jazz. So yeah, I think, yeah, the one after this, again, we don't have to go through so many support sessions as before. It was just the first time. But, you know, now we've got more to get through, because again, I don't think I showed all of them off when I first got thing. I think I just went through quite a few of them, and then, you know, decided, all right, let's do some later. I actually have to play the game, not just watch the read the visual novel, stuff like that.
It is your own presence and capabilities that I value so highly, Hubert. Titles are meaningless next to such things.
Yeah, that's again, I get behind Edelgard's viewpoint and stuff like that. You know, and granted, a title can help to, you know, invigorate people. You know, if you're given a certain title, you can feel better about yourself. At the same time, a title usually does stress a level, like, exemplify a level of importance, or like, you know, it kind of sums up, or it's supposed to reflect the person's skills. You know, if someone's like, you know, a vice minister or something like that, you assume they are the right person for this position, because they, you know, when you hear that title, it, you know, it's just got that power and that importance behind it. But obviously, a lot of people, not just in the game, in real life, have these titles, but they're not, you know, they're not earned, and they abuse the power these titles give them. So obviously, to Edelgard, titles don't mean shit. But, you know, having a title isn't a bad thing, especially if you've earned said title and use said title properly rather than abusing your power. But
if I'm truly the center of your world, then I wish you would trust me.
And obviously, you know, Edelgard does have personal feelings for Hubert. Obviously, with them, they are very professional. They are very professional about the way they act around each other. But, you know, when you're this close to someone, and when you work this hard, you have the same ideals. Of course, you're going to have personal feelings, but, you know.
Wait a moment. Are you saying you have
it's like, oh my god, Hubert, you have feelings for someone? I honestly thought you were a robot. Sorry, Hubert needs to close down and reboot. Would you like to send an error report?
You can't possibly keep something so.
And again, Edelgard, it's like, you know, she may be, you know, quite a cold woman, but she likes a bit of gossip, and you know, she wants to know who. I was like, oh, Hubert, who is it you love? You got a secret crush?
Hubert.
And, you know, it is flattering. It's like, okay, Hubert loves me. It's kind of obvious, but still flattering. Yeah. But at the same time, I get the feeling Hubert's love for Edelgard is something that grew over time. I don't think he, like, loved her romantically at first. He was just, you know, he admired her, but obviously, I don't feel. I could be wrong, but honestly, Hubert doesn't seem like the type of character where he would instantly fall in love. It's something they probably had to work on over time, and he just fell more and more in love the more time they spent together. And now with Linhardt and Hubert, it's just a case of, like, obviously Linhardt was like, Hubert was very much like, okay, never stop working, whereas Linhardt's like, never start working. And obviously the two of them need to find that nice middle ground. Again, another thing I think Three Houses kind of hit and miss is how some supports only go up to B, because I think with certain characters, obviously, if you're good enough of a writer, I reckon you can make an A support for everyone. But obviously certain characters, you know, they'll either only go up to B or go so far as an A+. And I think that's good, because it goes to show, like, which characters the writers felt work off each other better. Like, Linhardt and Hubert, there isn't that much to go off. It's just more of a polar opposite ideologies and things working against each other. Granted, you can still make that work with characters, but with these two, it works for this and it's fine. Obviously, like with the Bernadetta and Hubert one, I felt that one could have stopped at B, but, you know, that's still fine. Whereas, like, you know, Petra and Linhardt, there's more to work with, so they go all the way to A+. Trying to think, who else does A+? Now, I know Dorothea and, like, Manuela and, Dorothea and Ferdinand is just A, but some characters will go even further than that. I think Edelgard's got A+ with Byleth, even though their last support, so to speak, or interaction is more just used for laughs, but still pretty funny. But yeah, I think that's cool, that's actually a nice touch where some supports are naturally limited. Because beforehand in Fire Emblem, like, you know, everyone had at least up to an ace support and stuff like that. So having, you know, there was an ace support you could unlock. So having... Sorry?
When other people are tired. Maybe
Having some of them be limited from the start also, you know, it probably allows things to, like, supports to be more focused and just get straight to the point rather than having to stretch things out over the course of 3 different conversations. So, you know, I hope Fire Emblem game, again, either do that or just limit the number of supports to begin with. Obviously, Three Houses didn't go as over the top as Fates did with its supports. Well, for one thing, there's not as big of a cast. But... you know, I wouldn't mind if, at the very least, you know, characters could go up to B support. Because C alone, I don't think is enough. Because you know, C supports, Fire Emblem has a nasty habit of doing, misunderstandings or hostility in the C support, and then it's all better in the end. Okay, so yeah, now we have Manuela and Hubert. Not Hubert, Ferdinand. Sorry, I'm so bad with names in Fire Emblem. And again, this one's cool too because Ferdinand's obviously being Ferdinand, he just laps on the praise. And though Manuela's like, okay, you can stop, I'm not this famous singer anymore, she can't deny that she likes it. Because, well, yeah, everyone likes to be praised. Especially when, well, you know, I mean, again, I like to be praised, but obviously you don't want people to be absolute mindless suck-ups. Because there are people out there like that, and again, that's not actual praise, that's just, you know, that feels soulless and empty. But the thing with Ferdinand that makes it so thing is because, like, he goes into depth, he describes what it is about them that they like. You know, it's not just a sucker where others are like, oh yeah, they'll just say anything. You know, and see, even my mother's like, oh god, he really is such a gentleman. But yeah, because he's so passionate and so detailed about what Manuela means to him, she can't help but like it. Again, when people compliment you, it does feel really, really lovely. Everyone loves to be complimented, you know, and stuff like that. It's a really nice feeling. Yeah. And again, it's also interesting to see how it's not just a case of, oh, you look so beautiful, you inspired me to seek that beauty. It's like, oh, I heard you sing, you inspired me to sing. It's like, no, I saw you act out on stage with the sword, and I got interested in it through that. Which is interesting, because most people, like most sword people, it's like, oh, I wanted to learn the way of the sword because I saw, like, my father do it. He was such a great swordsman, I wanted to become a warrior. Whereas Ferdinand's like, I saw an actress do it, and I thought it was really beautiful. I wanted to follow in her footsteps. Again, it's an interesting take on, like, an inspirational figure. Just because, you know, she's a singer and, you know, a part of the opera company, and she inspired a swordsman. But yeah. And then Manuela, you know, it's not easy for her because, again, she's still seeking that love and stuff like that. And now we have Ingrid and Dorothea. I swear, Ingrid and Dorothea and Ingrid and, like, Mercedes, it's very much like, they're just like, let's just dress up Ingrid, shall we?
It's a small one, but I need some.
Also, the one thing I wonder is like, oh, Dorothea's like, oh, we're going to do these stage plays and stuff like that. It's like, where'd you get the budget for this? Or like, you know, how many people, I imagine quite a few people attend, and how, because operas can last quite long.
A tragic love story. A princess.
I wonder how many people, like, because again, well, I reckon back then operas and theatre productions, you know, they were a lot more commonplace just because, I mean, they're still very much around today in this day and age, but obviously you had to go to the theatre to see it all acted out. And, you know, that's why the Globe Theatre, you know, like, you had a lot of people there. You had a stall for the peasants. So it's just interesting. I know back then operas, you know, theatre productions were very much, were very, very popular. I just wonder, like, given the Garreg Mach, what's happening in Garreg Mach in the wartime, how many people actually get involved and how many people come to watch it and how many people are actually there. So interesting. And obviously, you know, it's Dorothea trying to help Ingrid with her looks. Personally, I don't think Ingrid needs any help, but I know what she's trying to do. Ingrid's never really thought about it, but she is a really beautiful woman, and naturally, it's the same with Khalil and Nephany. Nephany is beautiful, but there's no harm in using a bit of makeup to bring out those features. Obviously, too much makeup and just covering yourself is never a good thing, but using it to highlight. Again, the point of makeup should be to highlight your features, not to smother it and, you know, completely mask you. That, you know, and again, that, you know, Dorothea very much understands that, and that, you know, that's how it's supposed to work. And if makeup is applied properly, it can look wonderful. Obviously, you see those people who just apply so much fake tan, fake eyelashes, you know, cover themselves in lipstick and so much eyeshadow, and they just look odd. You know, that's when you're trying way too hard. But just, you know, a little bit of mascara here and there, some lipstick, bit of eyeshadow, just a little bit to bring out your best features. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Again, it can really work. And again, this support's pretty good too, because, like I said before, obviously, you know, the stuff with Caspar and, like, you know, Dagda and Bridget, I think they were allies, I believe. Yeah. But also, it's like, you know, it's also interesting to see the two, like, because obviously Shamir doesn't really care for Dagda that much. She still, you know, she still wants to go back there and she still remembers it fondly, but yeah. But obviously with Petra, she's very tied to her homeland. But at the same time, they're like neighbors, so, you know, the country is like neighbors, so they have that going for them.
What happens to your professor? I don't plan to return to Dagda.
Yeah, again, I was like, I'm cool. You know, I've left Dagda, I'm cool. Because some people are like that. Sometimes you go to a different country and you just gel there. I know many family members where they've moved out from the UK. Again, I've got an uncle in Germany, and that's where he likes it. Again, my sister is in Cuba, that's where she likes it. Where will I end up? I have no idea. I have to just wait and see. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, Petra's dictionary pretty much consists of, and I have understanding. But again, the way she delivers the line and just everything. And I still appreciate that they didn't make it so that Petra can't speak proper English, it's just the fact that sometimes she gets phrases mixed up. She's otherwise pretty damn articulate. So props to her. Again, the outfit is just so nice. I love it. Because again, it shows a lot of, like, it's quite revealing, but it doesn't look sexualized. It just looks more like a tribal, traditional outfit. It works. You know, it's clearly quite, with all the beads and the coloring, it's clearly quite African-inspired. I know, I've been to Africa.
It's very amazing.
You know, and I think that's really cool. But, you know, the color scheme is also really damn good too. So obviously, it looks to me like a bit of mix of Native American African. And that's really damn cool. Oh boy. Here we go. This is the support that broke a lot of people, or at least, you know, started the shipping and stuff like that. Because this is where we find out what happened to Dorothea and why she's so spiteful towards him. But it also goes into, you know... But at the same time, it's a really nice resolution for them both. Because obviously, Ferdinand's getting a bit fed up. It's like, you know, why are you like this towards me? I've done everything, and I act this way, and yet you still don't like me. What is it I've done? So obviously she goes into, you did this when I was an orphan, but obviously for Ferdinand it was a misunderstanding. But of course, they were kids, so that, well, relatively young, so that would happen.
Seeing street children around the city.
And obviously, you know, when it comes to that revelation, Dorothea can't just accept it for as it is, because she's got that deep-rooted hatred, and that moment meant so much to her in a negative way, so she can't just get over it. She's willing to work towards it, but it's not like, oh, I just forgive and forget you. Obviously, she doesn't hate Ferdinand now, but it's a case of these things take time, because again, when you have such a deep-rooted bad experience that someone did to you, even if it was accidental, you don't just forgive and forget then and there. This stuff takes work and it takes time. Now, you know, in the end, you can make them get together because obviously Ferdinand isn't a dickhead or anything like that, and it happened so long ago. So, you know. And it is true because even though Ferdinand did act one way when she was young, she can see now he's not that person.
Really? You're something different? That's not how I remember things.
Yeah, so obviously Dorothea's got, like, you know, it's a very bad thing. It's stuck with her forever.
Nothing was wrong in the world. I secretly bathed in...
But, you know, again, and I see why so many people ship these two so hard, because they have such a deep-rooted connection. I personally, again, I like the Dorothea ship. It's not my favorite, just because, again, it's more about them just coming to a realization about each other, like Ferdinand fully understanding her hatred, and Dorothea fully understanding the type of person Ferdinand is now. But with, like, Bernadetta, I feel there's more of a romance between them, and even with Manuela, I feel there's more of a romance. I'd say this is about on par with the Edelgard one, because the Edelgard one starts really hostile, but it just ends on such a strong note. This one's a bit more consistent.
A bee attracted to a flower in full bloom.
But, you know, at the end of the day, whoever you support, go for it. I can definitely get behind the Dorothea Ferdinand one, even though most people it's Dorothea and Hubert. Sorry, Ferdinand and Hubert. I get this messed up so often. People should take drinking games when I do this. It's really embarrassing and silly. But at the same time, when he goes to apologize, because again, Dorothea can't deny that, you know, he is telling the truth, because that's the type of person he is. Seeing him now and comparing him then, it's starting to make a bit more sense. Obviously, it's still difficult for her to shake, but she can't deny the evidence that is there. Because Ferdinand's not that type of person. He never has been, and he never will be. He's not one of those snooty nobles who look down on people. you know, again, Dorothea's just like...
Maybe I can't believe you. I've wanted to, ever since...
Again, it's difficult to get rid of a deep-rooted hatred, but Dorothea's not so stubborn as to to not move on. Because again, bad writing would be where she is like, I don't care that you're like this now, I still hate you, I'll never forgive you. But she's not like that. Yeah, she's got a lot of hatred for what happened back then, but hearing it now, hearing the truth and seeing who she is and how far they've come, it's one of those things where it'll take time to soften her heart, but it will soften eventually. It's just a long process.
Don't drones keep the queen?
But even then, she can still be optimistic about it. She's not just going to be dour forever. But yeah, that's what makes the connections between them so strong, and why. And again, because of the type of setting that Three Houses is, the conversations can be so much more impactful and so much stronger because of it. And if you'll excuse me, I need a drink again.
A little more crimson, maybe?
May I suggest vermilion instead?
Vermilion?
I'm on the road to Vermilion City. Yeah, got some Pokemon anime for you. Oh boy, growing up, that shit was everywhere.
I simply suggested vermilion over crimson.
Yeah, their support. Yeah, but again, like, I don't. Did they have an? I think they do have a support. It's just, you know, Bernie being Bernie and Linhardt being Linhardt. But obviously, because Linhardt's so chill and not that confrontational, Bernie can be a bit more comfortable around him.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. Say what you want to say. It's good
Yeah.
advice. I'll use vermilion.
But obviously, it's like Linhardt realized, okay, maybe I was wrong. Perhaps Crimson did work, and then Bernie panics because, you know.
Phew, finally done. I think.
And then after that, we got But as I was saying with the Dorothea one,
Don't look at it.
yeah. Oh god, I lost my train of thought. Shit. I lost my train of thought. I was talking about Dorothea, and no. Sorry, yeah, that was it. Because of the setting of Three Houses, because of how the world is built up, because of the situation at hand, and because of how the system works, not only can the characters be more unique, but the relationships can be much stronger and, you know, a lot more tragic because of how crests are used, how they're viewed differently, how each person is being utilized for their crests. Again, that's why Lysithea and Edelgard are so strong, because they've both been through the exact same thing. And having someone with the same, again, because with shared life experience, Lysithea can really warm up to her. And it's the same way, like, Sylvain, because he's so just detached from people because of how the crests were utilized against him. It's the same way Dorothea, with a lot of nobles, she can't stand them because of how life treated her. Again, it's really, really, really good stuff. Because of how the world works and the characters are built, the relationships forged are so strong. So, you know, I think I really, really, really like how thing. And, you know, there's people talking shit about Dorothea again. Obviously, you know, because the type of person Dorothea is, it's like, she just has a heart attack. She pulls a birdie.
But that's quibbling, I suppose.
And obviously, because the person Dorothea is, obviously, because she isn't like a noble or anything, everyone's all know, how the hell did she get in? She must have done something to you know, win herself some favor. And obviously, because of that, she's looked down upon. But even Dorothea can't deny that she's done stuff along those lines.
We're the same.
And obviously, she can't brush it off as easily because she doesn't really have anything to her name. It's not like, oh, it doesn't matter, I've got this stuff to fall back on. She doesn't really have things to fall back on. But also, the support between Linhardt and Thing. It's interesting because Dorothea is very much a prideful, emotional, you know, person, and very, you know, very energetic with very. How do I put this? Someone who's got like a lot of personality, very charming. Yes, she is very bold and charming. Whereas Linhardt just looks at things more statistically. So obviously, it's like because in reality, their words are dribble; they mean nothing. You know, it's like, oh, they're just making silly comments. Doesn't matter. But obviously to Dorothea, it does matter because, you know, it's attack against her pride, and it's demeaning who she is, and obviously she finds it very hurtful. Whereas Linhardt's like, you can say what you want to me, I won't give a shit. But the A support becomes really good because Linhardt does admit that sometimes when he doesn't know how to deal with stuff, he finds it difficult, and Dorothea can help him in that way.
Thank you. You're very welcome. I've been here since you started.
And again, it's just, you know, Dorothea and just being, well, I wouldn't call them BFFs because at Annette and Mercedes, they are BFFs, so to speak. Oh, that would have been such a... Oh god, I hope I never have to witness that. Because I fight Annette in this, but thankfully it's not Mercedes who fights her. I was just going to say, if Mercedes had to fight Annette, I'd probably cry. Because it's like, no, it's the same way if Marianne had to fight Hilda. It's like, no, don't do this.
Wouldn't say that. but thank you.
Yeah. I wonder what it'd be like for Dorothea to fight Ingrid. Oh, obviously, those two are more just chill and mature people. I'm not saying Mercedes is not mature, but obviously Annette's very young. You know, Marianne's very fragile. So obviously, them fighting off against each other, it's so much more hurtful.
Even the handkerchief
But yeah.
handed me smells like lavender, is it?
Lavender handkerchiefs.
It's just lovely.
They got 2 for 1 offer in Sainsbury's.
Perfume is a favorite of mine. I'm so glad you like it.
Oh, again. Again, I wasn't keen on Mercedes' short haircut at first, but the actual design is very reflective of a nun, and it makes sense. And again, if she took the hat off, it would probably look better against the hat that covers it, but again, the veil's very nice too. And even the color scheme, it is reflective of a nun. Because again, you realize Mercedes has a very, like, dull color scheme, purposely. Because, she's a nun, that type of nun type thing. It's, that, it's that attitude, they wear that type of attire. And again, it works for Mercedes because it also kind of shows the purity of her. She's just a very pure, lovely person.
You'll never know if you're the type who enjoys chatting.
And again, she's still so optimistic and lovely. Can she just adopt, like, all of us? Oh, yeah, can she just adopt us all? She's lovely. Oh, and yeah, before we end up, we also... Caspar takes a bit of an exam in order to become a grappler. So I'm telling you right now, he's not a grappler for long because I get masterclass really soon afterwards. But grapplers are pretty cool. It's not too bad of a class. I mean, granted, well, he looks like a bondage slave for one thing. Obviously, it's no paladin and it's no wither knight, but it's something. It's definitely something. So, anyway, next time, thank you very much for watching. That's the end of this part. Next time we come back to Three Houses, we're going back to the place where we did Alois and Shumir's Paralog. We're going to be for one hell of a fight. It's probably going to be one of my favourite, but also one of the toughest missions in the game. And as much as I don't like Three Houses reusing chapters, at least they're reusing maps, at least they reuse a really damn good one. Until then, thank you all very much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care and have a wonderful day.